Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. And if you see smoke or anything, that's I've got some incense going here. But I was going to do Mediumship Monday, and then I fell asleep yesterday because, as promised, I decided I was going to start doing more mediumship readings. Like anything that comes to me during the day or whatever. And today is Tuesday, so that was incense right there. Let me see if I can move that out of the way so it's not blowing right there. Um, and so today is Tarot Tuesday. So I thought I would do a Tarot Tuesday, even though it's a mediumship reading. And of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. It's just information I'm getting off the cards. Like I said before, I have a very mundane job, a job that I very much zone out on most of the time because it's literally from the time I walk in the door to the time I leave the same exact thing every day. I mean, if literally from the moment I walk in the door, I do literally the exact same thing every day. So it gets kind of monotonous. And when I'm doing my job in the middle of the day or something, it's usually between, I would say, lunchtime ending, which is 12:30, to last break, which is 3 or 2:45. So usually in that time frame, a spirit will come to me, or I'm either like, and that's the longest part of the day without a break. So I think that's part of why, because I get so caught up in what I'm doing, that spirit comes to me. So I've been doing this spread that I made up at work during lunchtime. Or actually, I've been doing it this week in the morning at first break, and then I elaborated on it later. And I did do one today, uh, even though, and the tarot decks I'm using, because I'm really enjoying, for some reason, using two tarot decks and an oracle deck together for anything. I don't know why. Usually I just use an oracle and a tarot deck and one card, but I've been using multiple cards lately. It's weird. I must be maturing tarot wise. But the tarot deck here is the my newest 420 tarot, and I've been unsure about this deck, and I've been using it last couple days. It's only Tuesday, and I'm still on the fence about it. However, there are moments in this deck that it's perfectly clear it's good for mediumship readings, and then there's other times I'm like, why do I have you? It's weird. Um, So yeah, there's that. And then this is my Line Strider Tarot. I never used this deck. And so I pulled it out. It's something told me to use it. And this is my new Citadel Oracle. Um, Mass market version. And what I found odd, because none of these aesthetics go together. None of them. None of them match. However, I'm like, why did I pick these three specifically to work together? They all have a specific color palette and a very limited color palette. And I'm like, I found that interesting today because I realized it today. And I'm like, wait, they all have a very limited color palette, which is probably why I think they work great together. Despite the fact that none of them match aesthetically, there's something about the limited color in them that speaks to each other. It's very interesting. But anyway, without me rambling on and on further, so the mediumship spread I created was, this is the person. These two are the personality traits on this side. And then this is the bottom card here is what they learned in life and carried over into death. And then this is what they learned in death since they passed. Now, this is the basic spread, and I have yet to really build off of this, but you could ask a plethora of questions beyond this with other decks, and I am going to do that today if I have time with my steampunk, the tea leaf fortune telling cards. This is the first deck I ever used for mediumship readings, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's like a Lenormand, but it's not quite. In fact, I have two one or two other Lenormand decks, and that's all I use them for is mediumship readings. I don't use them in a traditional Lenormand way because they're meant for me to use as a mediumship deck. And so because of that, I don't have a whole lot of Lenormand decks because they're literally the same thing. I find what's pretty and then that's what I buy. But that's it. So, without further ado, today I had I pulled my phone out here. I did the spread this morning, and I did feel like there was a male presence near me. Let me see if I can find it now. If you hear background noise, that's my dog being a weirdo. I did a spread here. And I got the Seven of Pentacles. But I felt it was very much a masculine card. Then I did another spread later. And I think it's funny because I got mismatched shoes on there. That is the Seven of Wands in that spot. And again, it's a female, but I felt a very masculine energy. What is happening there? Which is interesting. And it's both sevens. So I found that quite interesting. I'm like, it's a 7 each time. And traditionally, in those cards in the RWS, it is a male. Just happens to be female in this deck. So I found that quite interesting because I was feeling that there was an older male presence with me today. Older, I would say maybe late 50s, early 60s, if that. So I found that interesting. So then I'm doing the spread again now. And I actually did a meditation and everything with this spread. And lit some incense, which is now almost burnt out. But yeah, so without further ado, who is this person? Oh wow, and I got the King of Cups, and is a male. And I do get an older male energy. Look, he's got a bong in his hand. He's in a wheelchair. His eyes are bloodshot. All of the people in this deck, it's most of the people in this deck, their eyes are bloodshot because they're high. But that's neither here nor there. And it's weird because I feel a sense of abandonment here. Like he's been abandoned, left to his own devices on this platform in the middle of the water, in his wheelchair. Interesting. But I do get an older gentleman here. Interesting. I love the color palette. I almost ignore the fact that everybody either has a bong or is smoking a joint because I love the color palette. It's so vibrant and pretty, and I don't know why. Anyway, what is his personality? And I got the Devil and the Knight of Cups. And it's funny because there's a emotional connection here because of the water, because the King and the Knight are water. All of them are male. A male, like, what do you call it? Personification, I guess. The Devil, it's almost like he wants me to think he's a devil in disguise. Maybe he's smoked a lot of pot, or he did a lot of things. And I'm almost feeling like this is the guy that lived in my house before again, because I did the spread before, and right after I found out that the neighbor explained to me that the person that lived here before us did pass away in the house, and I was always getting an older gentleman. I would actually see a man out of the corner of my eye a few times at my kitchen table, like he was waiting on dinner. And he was in the 50s or 60s range. So that's interesting because that's what I felt earlier today, and that's what I feel now in this card. Interesting. So, what did you learn in life? I got the Champion, Achievement, and Downfall. And I was getting that last time I did a spread, not this specific card, but look at that. That's actually the card I was seeing on the side of the box earlier today, and I'm like, that's pretty. I haven't came across that. Actually, it was on the book, the back of the book. I'm like, that's pretty. I haven't drawn that. It's not exactly the same. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah, it's the same here. These different hands. I'm like, that's pretty. But I didn't get the champion card in that deck or in that spread that I did a couple weeks ago, but I felt like, it says achievement and downfall. I literally got, and I'd have to go back to watch that video. I haven't watched it, but I literally got that they didn't accomplish the things they wanted to do because maybe the alcohol got in the way because they were an alcoholic. And I very much feel that here with this card saying achievement and downfall. Interesting. So that's what they learned in life, which makes a total sense. And then what did they learn in death? Did they learn in death? Oh, wow. The Hound. Loyalty, chains, and promises. Wow. I feel like they learned a life lesson after death in that they learned basically what was keeping them down, the chains that bound them, the promises they made to themselves that they broke many times. And there's something to be said for facing your demons. And I feel like this was a very big demon for him. Is he was personified as this devil, this hound, and every time I see the hound in this specific deck, I think of the Hounds of Hell, which we got the devil. So it makes sense. He had his own demons to fight, and he didn't understand the demons that he was fighting until he passed. And now it's like he's saying, oh, if I had to do it over again, if I did do it over again, I would achieve this goal. I would accomplish this. But I don't know that he's really learnt that how to, what's the word I'm looking for? How to connect with that specific thing. So if he lived the next life and he would be like, oh, this is the lesson I need to learn, even though the lesson that needs to be learned is way over here. So I feel like he's not recognizing the lessons that need to be learned in the lifetime that he's in. Interesting. I feel that way quite a bit as well. So that's quite interesting. Quite interesting. So let's look at this deck here with the steampunk deck. And this had and look how it opens up. It doesn't have it does have a metallic or magnetic box, but look how beautiful that is. And they're dinky cards. They're little. They're like Lenormand size, maybe even smaller. But when I first got this deck, I saw this on Anthony's channel forever ago. It had the most beautiful chocolate gilding, and as you can see, it's wore off. But it wore off so fast that I'm like, I feel like I'd had this deck maybe a month and it started looking like this. And I felt so horrible because it was like so luxurious and beautiful, and now it just looks like crap. But I haven't pulled this deck out in a while. So we're going to ask this man, how did you die? 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 There's one trying to pop out. Ooh, the heart. And that's hilarious. Or not hilarious, but it's funny that that comes out because the day I found out that the guy that lived here before was had literally our neighbors watched him being carried out on a stretcher. I kept getting like somebody had came to me with heart problems. So I very much feel like he either had cirrhosis of the liver, heart attack, or both issues. So that's very funny. I mean, very interesting. Not funny, haha, but interesting. That's how did you die? Wow, the heart. I have an uncle and a grandfather that passed from heart problems. I mean, it could very well be one of them with these rest of these cards as well. I don't feel like it's somebody I know though. It does feel very much like the same energy as the person that was before. But who knows? I want to ask, are you related to me? But I'm not going to get a yes or no out of these cards. What did you do for a living? 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 Oh, I got a man. I know you're a man. What did you do for a living? Wow. And then a lady came out. And then lady 2 popped out. What did you do for a living? What did you do for a living? Not one to talk now. Tombstone. I don't know why, but when the man and the 2 women popped out, I got mannequin. I have no idea what the person that used to live here did for a living. I know at one point he worked at Ford, a Ford plant. But I very much feel in this, not just mannequin, but like, I almost visually see a undertaker like fitting someone for their coffin. Interesting. From a funeral home. And that's the vibe I get here too with him. Interesting. Anything else you want us to know? Book fell out. And house. There are parts of my house that are hidden to me. I almost feel like my house is almost like a open portal, because I've said to you guys many times, I've found knickknacks and stuff in spots that didn't previously have knickknacks. Like, we would go down the basement, clean it out, there's nothing down there, and then 2 days later my son would go down there for something and be like, oh, I found this knickknack of yours in the middle of the floor, and it's not something that's mine. It's weird. This has happened, and we've lived here almost 14 years. This has happened so many times in this house, and I feel like things are being thrown from another dimension into this world, or into this house, or it's something that is in this house that just keeps getting rediscovered, and spirits are moving it because they want it found. And every time I've thrown it out, because I'm like, no, because it's either some kind of weird toy that's like jacked up looking, or something else, almost like a talisman of sorts. And I'm like, I don't need that in my house. So I usually do a ritual and do some smoke over it and throw it out. And I'm like, no, we're not having that here, that energy here in this house. But I would totally get it if I found a diary or something like that in this house, because I found so many things in this house that had no business being here, and wasn't here when we walked through the house and did things. And it's very weird. It's almost like When I first got into crystals, people were like, well, if your crystal disappears, it's because it went back home. And I feel the same way with the knickknacks that show up here. And they're usually very odd knickknacks. There's nothing I would ever own, nothing I would ever accept as a gift, nothing. So just the fact that they're showing up randomly, and it usually happens every couple years, we'll find another knickknack that wasn't there before. And I'm like, where did this come from? We don't know. So I totally see if we found a book of his or his diary or something like that, it would totally make, or even an older person, it would totally make sense. But that's the spread I have tonight. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And if you guys want me to do a mediumship reading for any of you, I'm still very new at this. Don't hesitate to let me know. And I will do my best. But yeah, it's getting late and you guys have a good night. Bye.